Hi, so here is another video. I'm going to speak as if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, so I'm just going to assume that you haven't. Keeping my glasses a little clean. So I'm going to walk you step by step through the inner flowers and then the outer edge. I will be making the small one with 2 rows of white. And there are 2 different designs. I have earlier videos on both the popcorn and the flower. This is the inner flower. But the earlier design, the earlier video, actually shows the flower with a different colored center. And also, it is a smaller petal in the fact that there are less double crochets in each petal. So it makes it a flatter flower. I was trying to find a way to make the whole thing in one, simply because for sewing up it is quicker, and actually in the end I'm really happy with it. I find the results is neater. This one's beautiful, and even if you want to use it in one color, then you literally will not be cutting your yarn right until the end. So if you wanted to make a plain white baby blanket, you could. See, but the thing is, it's a little bit smaller than the square. That's why I made a plain square, just to show you that even though these could count as the first 2 rows, it is a little insignificant bit smaller than the normal square. I might have to actually make this center disc a bit bigger. I'll work on that. But for now, this video is going to be this pattern as it is. So this is the popcorn, and this is the daisy, and they are almost identical. There's only one small difference. So I'm going to be walking through both of these, and then the white is identical. I've been tweaking. I did fiddle it a little bit, like for instance there I've got 2 half double crochets, and here I have 3, but then there I have 3. So some of them are my earlier attempts. All last night I've been sitting up working out ways to make a really small and really cute mini granny square. So to start, what we need is, first of all, to pack all these up. And I will keep one out as an example. The blue seems to be better with the camera than the pink. It's just plain centers. This is my classic compact granny square, in which each row I work from the opposite side. So it's reversible. So the 2 center parts, as I said, are almost identical. Daisy, popcorn. I'm going to start with the popcorn, and then I'll make the daisy, and then after that I'll make the white, which will be the same for either one. I try not to edit my videos at all because it's a real pain. So I'm just going to go straight in, and at the end I will just I'll just push stop, and then the next video I'll put them into a playlist, will be the white section. This is not a beginner video. I'm assuming that you know how to crochet, and also I use US terms, and there is a stitch in US terms which I have not been able to find in UK terms. My skin's all coming loose. Winter's been quite harsh on my skin. even though it's nice and warm in the apartment. Anyway, so I'm going to zoom in. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Let's get the lighting sorted. To move it a little bit higher. Okay, that seems to be good enough. So as I said, I'm assuming that you know how to crochet, but I'll walk you through anyway so you can see the way I do things, my techniques. We're starting off with a magic circle, and the yarn is to the front. Wrap it once, catch the yarn in the back with my fingers, put the hook underneath both yarns, go and catch the yarn, bring it back. What it's done now, it's created a type of twist on the needle, on the hook. I'll keep saying needle, sorry, on the hook. I go and catch the yarn again, and I pull it through, and I pull tight. That has now made a slip knot. Take my finger out. I don't close it. Catch my working yarn, prepare it on my hand, and with my free fingers, I pinch that circle. We'll be working into that magic circle. Pull my yarn back so it's small, and chain 1. I'm now going to make 7 half double crochets. This is a US term. I do not know what it's called in the UK, but if you watch the stitch, wrap the yarn, go through, catch the yarn, bring it back. I now have 3 loops on my needle. I pull my yarn through all 3. Wrap the yarn, go through, catch the yarn, bring it back. Got 3. Catch the yarn, pull it through all 3. That is a half double crochet. I've made 2, I'm going to make 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What I'm now going to do is check, because sometimes we can lose count watching TV or in a conversation. I'm going to check that I have 7 V's running down the spine of my work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm happy with that. I unwrap the tail and I pull the magic circle tight. I'm now going to be working into the 7th V from the hook, not including the loop on the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can either try and push that through, which is possible if you find it a bit difficult because you were a bit tight on this first loop, which is an error, but you'll learn soon enough that you need to keep this one. You need to be generous with your first stitch there. You can go and fetch it with a smaller hook, put it onto your working needle, but it's going to be a slip stitch, so you're not going to make a single crochet, you're just going to put it all the way through, so you have a slip stitch. You can now double check. You should have 8 V's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You need 8 V's because you are making 8 petals. So I have my 8 V's. I will be working now into this first one where I've just made the slip stitch. But before I do that, I'm going to chain 2 up. This is slightly different from my previous video on how to make the daisies, because this chain 2 up is not actually going to be counted as a stitch. It's literally just to get to the top. So I chain 2. I don't pull them tight. I leave them as they are. And I'll be making my first petal into that first V. And each petal is going to have 5 double crochets. 5 double crochets. Because we're going to start off, I don't know which one I said, so we're just going to put that one aside. We're starting off with the daisy. The daisy, the way it's made is you do not complete each of the 5 double crochets. You literally keep them on your hook. So this is not going to be counted as a stitch. I'm going to go into that first V, wrap the yarn, go into the hole, fetch the yarn, bring it back. Now you have 3 on the hook. You're going to go through 2. If you want to complete a double crochet, you'll go through again and you'll put it through. You're not going to do that. We're going to leave that on the hook there. We're going to make another one, wrap the yarn, go through the hole, fetch, bring it through 2. That's our second double crochet, but it's not complete. It's now waiting in suspension on the hook. Wrap the yarn, go through the hole again, bring the yarn through, pull it through 2. That's your third. We're now going to make the 4th and the 5th. It becomes very crowded on your needle. So the first one was that chain 2 up. We don't count that as a stitch, and we've got 2, 4, 5. Altogether 6 loops on the needle, on the hook. Now we're going to wrap the yarn and we're going to pull it through all of the loops. There we go. First petal is finished. So you pull it through, you pull the yarn back a little bit, make it nice and snug. We are going to chain 2. 1, 2. And we're going to repeat the process in the next one. Wrap the yarn, go through the V, fetch the yarn, pull the yarn through 2. Wrap, fetch, pull through, wrap, pull through 2. See how you go there? You go wrap, go through the hole, fetch, wrap, pull through, wrap again, pull through 2. We now already have 3 stitches, and we just continue. So the 4th and the 5th. We now have 5 incomplete double crochets, and it will make 6 loops. The first loop is from the chain 2, then we have 2, 4, 5. 5 incomplete double crochets. Altogether 6 loops. We're going to go and fetch the yarn, wrap, and we're going to pull it through all 6 loops. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to repeat the process. So I'm going to walk slowly through this one, and then after that I'll speed up. Wrap the yarn, go through the V, which is the stitch from the first row, catching the yarn, bringing it through. Now I have 3 loops on the needle. Wrap the yarn and bring it through 2. That's your first incomplete half double crochet. We're going to repeat that until we have 5 incomplete half double crochets. So wrap, fetch, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. And I have 6 loops on the needle, on the hook. 2, 4, 6. Fetch the yarn, wrap around the hook, and bring it through all. And chain 2. Do not forget to chain 2, because where the chains are, where the chains are, that is where we're going to be working the next row. And if you forget those chains, which can happen, your flower is going to be unbalanced and you are not going to be able to do the next row. It can happen, especially if you've just started out with this. The best is, before you cut your yarn at the end, is to check that everything is there. So I've chained 2, and I'm just going to continue working until the end, and then I'll catch you there. through all, chain 2. Pull through all, chain 2. 3, 4, 5. And I'll drop that last one because it wasn't tucked in nicely into the stitch. It was too big, so I'm going to go back in and make sure it tucks in. The last one, the yarn really tucks into that little corner. If not, it'll be baggy afterwards. Chain 2. Yeah, one of your sections of your petal will be baggy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull through, chain 2. So now I've come to the last one. Sometimes it can be difficult to see the last one, so what you do is you need to count. Flip the petals over, make sure you've got 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you know the 8th one will be in there. You need 8 petals. Open it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last one, a little tug, so I can really know it's going nicely into that corner. I've got all the stitches I need and pull through. I chain 2, and here I'm going to be joining to the first petal, to the top. Now we look carefully at the makeup of a petal. You have the chains between the petals, and then right at the top you have a type of loop that's sitting at the very top of the petals. We're going to be going into that loop there. There's that loop. If you want, you can use a smaller hook to make the work easier, and because it's got a little bit tight, you go and fetch your yarn and you bring it out, put it onto your working hook, but it's going to be a slip stitch, so you literally slip all the way through. Now your work is complete because you have 8 petals, 8 chains between each petal, and you've come back to the beginning and you've joined it up. So in previous videos I've shown how we can cut the yarn and work away so it's invisible. What I've been doing since last night is cutting the yarn. First I pull a loop through, so there it is. It's a slip. I'm going to slip again, pull the yarn through, makes a nice little tight knot in there, and then I cut the yarn, nice generous length, because you're going to work it away later. And while it's on the hook, you pull, 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 and that makes a very firm little knot there. So it is closed, and later on I'll be working that away. With the daisies, the previous ones, because they were quite flat, this is actually supposed to be what they call the correct side, but I quite like that as well. And with this was a 4 double crochet daisy petal. This is a 5 double crochet daisy petal, and I'm actually using the petal now as the flower pushed up. So you see what I'm done? I've actually worked that is now the front of the work instead of that being the front of the work. I'm now going to make the popcorn flower, which is almost identical. I'm doing them both together in one video just so that you can see how amazing they are and how similar they are. Use a different color. It's a bit of a gamble because I hope I'm not going to run out. Please don't run out. Please don't run out. Exactly the same beginning. Magic circle. Oops. Fetch the yarn. Bring it through. Fetch the yarn again. Pull tight. That's my slip knot. Pull it down so it's snug on the hook. And chain 1. 5 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Check that I have 7 V's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm happy with that. Unwrap the tail, pull it tight. Working into the 7th V. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Either with this hook or a smaller one if it's a bit snug. If you like this, you have to take both with your nail. I just prefer to go like that. It's quick and easy. And you slip stitch. I now have 8 V's. Just as in the previous one, I'm chaining 2 up. It does not count as a stitch. It is simply a chain 2 up to get my work into position. Working into the V that I've literally made the slip stitch into, I'm going to make 5 full double crochets. 5 full double crochets. Double crochets, wrap once, go through the V, fetch the yarn, bring it through, wrap yarn, put it through two loops, wrap the yarn, pull it through 2 loops. That is a double crochet in US terms. I'm going to make another one, wrap the yarn, go through the V, fetch the yarn, bring it through. Now I've got 3 hooks, 3 loops on the hook, wrap the yarn, bring it through 2, wrap the yarn, bring it through 2. I'm going to make 3 more. The 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. So the petal consists of 5 double crochets, but the interesting thing is it's a popcorn. So what we have to do now is, if you'll see all these V's running down there, we're going to be working on to the 5th V from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what we're going to do is, we're not going, no, most popcorns that go like this, you go back, you catch it. The way I do my popcorns is I just turn the work back to front and I count down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put my hook into the 5th. It's nice and loose from the chain up. If it wasn't, I'd use my little friend there. And I'm going to make a slip knot. So I go and fetch the yarn and I pull it through, first of all, that chain, and then I pull it through this loop on the hook. It's a slip knot, not a single crochet. Chain 2. Just like in the previous one, we're chaining 2 because we will need that. We make the next row. Look, there we go. See the chain 2? So we will need that. turn the work back to the front, and that's your first petal. I'll walk you through the next one. We're making a double crochet. You've wrapped the yarn, you go through the V, fetch the yarn. You've got now 3 loops on your hook. Wrap the yarn, bring it through 2, wrap the yarn, bring it through 2. That is your first double crochet. And we're making 5. So second, third, fourth, fifth, turn the work backwards, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the 5th V from the hook, I'm going to put only our hook into that V. We're going to make a slip stitch. So go and fetch the yarn and pull it through and pull it through. Chain 2, turn the work back to the front, and now you've got your second petal. And you literally continue with that. What is my yarn doing here? I'm using the absolute end, the scrap. It's making a right old knot. Okay, so I'm going to continue with that, and we'll meet you at the last petal. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn the work backwards. Count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into that 5th V. Fetch the yarn and slip stitch it all the way through. Chain 2. Back to the front of the work. And the next double crochet into the next V. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, 4 double crochet, 5 double crochet. Turn the work backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the 5th. Slip stitch all the way through. Chain 2. Turn the work to the front again and continue. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, the 8th one goes into this last V. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 2. and it'll be ending in the same way as the daisy. I'll be looking for the back of the petal. You can see the petals, got their makeup. You have this kind of peak there, and at the back they join. If you want, you can turn the work backwards. You can just have a little look, just to familiarize yourself with it. And you say, okay, well, I need to get into that back. Once again, a smaller hook will help. I don't want to get one section, I want to get both. There we go. Happy with that. Catch the yarn, bring it through, and then put that loop into my working hook. But it's a slip stitch, so I'm going to pull it all the way through. And I'm going to pull it through again. And only now will I cut it and pull it through. So we have completed a daisy and a popcorn. They're almost identical in the makeup and how they're made. I think you could probably explore all different kinds of flowers, especially with this central core, which is the first row, as long as it's an 8-petal flower. I don't mean necessarily for granny squares, I mean something that you want to applique on. Where's the white one? If you have a plain granny square, you can always applique something like this on. You don't have to granny square it on. Bit more fiddly, but possible. So the next video will be on the rows around the edge of the granny square. See you there.